Imagine waking up each morning and coughing before you can even speak, struggling to breathe the thick air that fills your room. Imagine stepping outside to find yourself surrounded by mountains of garbage, rivers so toxic they run black, and skies choked with smog so thick it blocks out the sun. This is not the setting of a horror film. This is daily life for millions in some of the dirtiest places on Earth. Today, we're diving into the 5 most polluted countries in the world, where people are forced to survive in environments so toxic they feel like nightmares made real. In India, pollution isn't just in the air, it's a part of life itself. Imagine living in Delhi, where the air pollution is so severe that children grow up never seeing a truly blue sky. Every day, millions walk through a world blanketed in smog, where air quality indices skyrocket, warning citizens that simply breathing is hazardous to their health. People wear masks not as a choice, but as a desperate attempt to avoid inhaling the toxins hanging in the air. Asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory diseases are common even among children who cough through their days like elderly people. And then there are the rivers. Like the once sacred Ganges, known as the lifeline of India, the Ganges River now flows as a blackened shadow of its former self, filled with sewage, industrial chemicals, and endless plastic waste. People who bathe in it risk their health, yet they have no other choice. It's the only source of water for millions. Families gather to wash clothes, drink, and clean, all in waters that are so contaminated they're classified as toxic. For those who live near these rivers, survival is a fight against diseases, infections, and pollution that poisons from the inside out. Just across the border, in Pakistan, the streets tell another story of environmental devastation. In cities like Karachi and Lahore, garbage piles up on street corners, in front of homes, and in every empty lot. Waste management is practically non-existent in many areas, and with a booming population, there's nowhere to put the endless trash. Residents wake up every morning to the smell of rotting waste and burning garbage, open fires set to reduce the ever-growing piles. The stench is inescapable, seeping into homes, clothes, and even food. The air here is a silent killer, with unregulated factories pumping out toxic fumes and vehicles releasing heavy emissions. The air quality is consistently at dangerous levels. People walk through thick layers of smog, often barely able to see beyond a few feet in front of them. Children develop asthma before they even learn to run, and elderly people struggle to walk without wheezing. Living in Pakistan's cities means accepting that every breath you take could be slowly killing you. Bangladesh, a country full of rivers and waterways, has seen its natural beauty turn into a polluted nightmare. In Dhaka, the capital, rivers have become carriers of toxic industrial runoff, where factory waste, heavy metals, and sewage all flow freely. Residents who rely on these rivers for drinking water have few other options. In some areas, the water is so polluted that simply touching it causes skin irritation and infections. Imagine having to bathe, cook, and wash in water that is visibly contaminated, knowing you're risking your health every time. The air is no better. Dhaka's air quality is among the worst in the world, with levels of pollution so high that they would be considered a public health crisis in other countries. Yet here, it's just part of life. People develop chronic illnesses, skin diseases, and respiratory conditions, with hospitals overflowing with patients suffering from pollution-related ailments. Bangladeshis live in a constant state of exposure to pollutants that poison their bodies and homes, making survival a daily challenge. Then there's Nigeria, where the Niger Delta, once a thriving, fertile land, has become one of the most polluted places on Earth, devastated by decades of oil spills and gas flaring. Imagine looking out onto a landscape where rivers glisten with a rainbow sheen from oil spills, where fish lie dead in the water, and where the land that once provided for entire communities is now a poisoned wasteland. People here rely on water that's tainted with oil residue, risking serious health issues just to drink and bathe. In the skies, gas flares burn constantly, releasing black soot and chemicals that settle on homes, crops, and people. The air smells of petroleum and smoke, an inescapable reminder of the industry that profits while locals suffer. Respiratory problems are rampant, and cancer rates have soared, especially in communities close to oil fields. People's skin is often covered in a thin layer of soot, a physical reminder that their environment is polluted beyond repair. For Nigerians in these areas, every day is a fight to find clean air, clean water, and a sense of safety in their own homes. And finally, China, a country that has experienced rapid growth, but at an unimaginable environmental cost. In megacities like Beijing and Shanghai, smog blankets the city like a heavy shroud, making even a short walk outside hazardous. People wear masks and carry air filters in their homes, knowing that one bad air day can lead to serious health consequences. Children are often kept indoors to avoid the harmful effects of pollution, and cancer rates in certain areas have skyrocketed, leading to the tragic nickname cancer villages. The waterways are no better. Industrial runoff runoff and waste have poisoned rivers, making them unsafe for drinking or even touching. Villages along these rivers suffer from illnesses linked to toxic chemicals in the water, and many have seen loved ones suffer from strange, aggressive cancers and diseases. For millions in China, the cost of economic progress is paid for with their health, their quality of life, and, too often, their lives. These are the 5 dirtiest countries in the world, places where people don't just face environmental issues, they live with them, breathe them, and suffer from them every single day. The fight for survival in these polluted lands is brutal, and the consequences of inaction are devastating. These countries serve as a grim warning to the rest of the world. If we continue to ignore the impact of pollution, this could be the future we all face. So the question we must ask ourselves is, how much longer can we let this continue? How many lives will it take for the world to act?